All right, so here we go. We're going to do another example of converting a fraction into a decimal. So we're going to do this example here of 13/40ths. And what we want to ask ourselves first is, well, can we use the power of 10 method, right? Because it can be a lot faster if you're able to use that. So we could say, okay, well, 13/40ths. If I take 13/40ths, I know that I can get to 10, right? I can get to 10 in my denominator by dividing 40 by 4, and that would give me 10. But if I do that up here, if I divide 13 by 4 as well, because that's what you'd need to do, you need to do the same thing to both the top and the bottom to have an equivalent fraction. Well, it's going to end up with a decimal, right? I think it ends up with something like 3.2 something something, which is just kind of awkward, right? It's not going to work out very well. So we're not going to use this method here. Instead, we're going to end up using our division method. So we're going to take our 13 and we're going to divide it by 40. So your numerator always goes on the inside and your denominator always goes on the outside. So you're going to say, okay, 40. Well, how many times does 40 fit into our first digit here? 1, 0. How many times does 40 then fit into 13? Well, still 0. So then if we go ahead and we plop in a decimal, we bring it here and we make this 13.0, that's the same value as 13. It just looks different, right? And since we booped our decimal right up here, we can now pretend like that decimal's not there, and we can call this 130. So we can say, okay, well, how many times does 40 fit then into 130? And it ends up fitting 3 times. So 4 times 3 gets me 12, and I add a 0, I end up with 120. As I subtract, I want to see kind of how much do I have left going on here? Well, we've got 10 left. So there's still a remainder. So we're going to add a 0, drop it down, and say, oh, well, 40, it does fit into 100. How many times? Well, I know 4 times 2 gets me 8. So 40 times 2 gets me 80. When I subtract here, we're going to end up with 20 left over. Still a remainder. So we're going to add another 0 and see if we can have it fit evenly or if it's going to keep on keeping on. So we say, okay, how many times does 40 fit into 200? And this time, it ends up fitting 5 times, which is a perfect fit. 40 times 5 gets us 200. So we've got nothing left over here. So we've used the division method to end up right here with our decimal. So we can say 0.325 or 325 thousandths is what you get when you divide 13 by 40.